From anime and manga to video games and professional wrestling, you name it, they cover it. LordofIce72 and TL21xx present their community podcast, the MAVcast.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? The podcast that's more devastating than a Dom Dwyer firecracker right into the top corner of the net in an MLS game. This is the MAVcast with your host, LordofIce72, or Drew, if you want to call me that. Whatever, we're pretty laid back here.
Pretty much.
Of course, you, go right ahead.
TL21xx, TwilightLink21xx, aka JD, however you want to go by it. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're sorry for the gap in between releases. Believe it or not, we actually were going to have a episode almost a week after the last one, which is absolutely insane. There's just one problem.
The audio crapped out on us.
Yeah, basically, we had this really nasty hiss. It was unlistenable. And the issue is that once I removed it, we ended up losing about half of what Drew said because he was too quiet. Not his fault. All mine.
Well, I'm pretty sure that our listeners would have enjoyed that anyway.
Yeah. Oh, you never know, man. You never know. Yeah. Anyway, so that being said, technical issues aside, we are trying to be more regular with the MAVcast, which might get a little bit more difficult slightly because of something that's coming up for me in the spring. Pretty epic opportunity. I will be partaking of an internship with a certain internet company. I'm not going to name any names as of right now, but you might hear my voice and see my face. I'll probably talk more about when it actually happens, but I did get the job, which is pretty exciting. It is just for school credit, so it's not a paying gig yet, but it could well become one.
Make the podcast a part of it.
Never know.
Yeah,
Never
granted,
know.
I'm pretty sure they won't allow you to.
Oh,
but
probably not.
Yeah, but hey, it'd be something to do. Maybe on your whenever you're done with your work for the day, just stay there because I'm pretty sure you have access to more advanced, more durable audio equipment there.
Slightly. Yes and no. It's actually kind of funny. We actually built this setup that I'm using right now. We spec'd it out based off of what they actually use on the podcast.
Okay.
Oh, I have to censor that, don't I?
Yep.
Accidentally said who it was.
Yep.
But basically, that company's podcast, they actually we spec'd out our situation off of that, and the only difference is that our microphones are slightly cheaper. It's like one tier down, and we're using a less expensive board. But give or take, it's in terms of sound quality for a podcast, it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
There's something about once I get it set up in here, it's really easy. So it's actually part of why we have been able to do these podcasts quicker, is because I'm not having to doink around with trying to figure out how to get the different audio set up. I'm able to just feed everything through the board, and it just records, and it's already set. It's mono. It's good. It's happy. We're good. So, yeah, it makes life a lot easier. Not as easy as it could be. I'm still trying to figure out a couple of quirky things. I'm trying to figure out if any of you guys out there on the web know how to do Skype recording better, please pass that along. But I think our situation works pretty well.
We'd be grateful for it.
Yeah. So
I'd just like to point out that it didn't take too long for you to botch one of your sayings.
Yeah,
about
really.
The podcast. I just thought that was funny. I'm sorry.
I'm like, oh god. I was. Well, that's the thing. It's just one of those things that you don't think. Oh well, whatever. Anyways, so moving on.
Straight out of the Botchamania episode, where actually no. It wasn't originally a Botchamania episode, but they included it in Botchamania where Owen and Brett were cutting a promo on each other. And that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. One of the best botches ever.
Oh, yeah. Not as good as the greatest, in my opinion, most iconic botches of all time. He's gonna shock the world because he's a shock master.
I know, Gobbledygooker was pretty up there.
True. It did get its own award.
Mm-hmm.
So in case you guys haven't noticed, we are in a very wrestling mood today because there was a certain wrestling event that we're probably going to talk about at the second half of this podcast, since we know that we are, in terms of our listener base, probably better known as an anime and manga podcast, and that's fine. That and, of course, gaming, because, well, let's face it, that's why we're here.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily one subject podcast. I mean,
No,
we very
no.
much talk about whatever
Very
the heck
general.
we want to.
Very, but we also have to be faithful to the people that start following us. I mean, let's get real here.
Yeah.
So we'll of course have that at the end. I know there's a lot of crossover in terms of our fan base. I know there's a lot of people that used to watch my channel when it was more active that were definitely wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about how that was for you on your channel, if there was much talk of that.
It was mainly manga and anime related, unfortunately. But since I got back into wrestling a couple years ago, I had to play catch up. But we might have attracted a couple more wrestling fans thanks to me, but who knows for sure.
So, anyways, let's go ahead and dive in to, I guess we should start with what we've been watching, anime and manga wise, what we've been reading. I haven't really been reading much manga lately. I probably need to, but it's one of those situations where basically, and it's something I was talking to my brothers about recently, actually. It's kind of funny. Manga currently is in this really weird position right now. A lot of the companies, we're starting to feel a lot of the effects of the transition to primarily love comedy in terms of like shonen mags and whatnot. And I feel like that's something that's kind of, we're getting to the point where we're seeing less and less action series. We, of course, as we know, we lost one of them, thankfully, this year in losing Naruto. So we're seeing Jump erode in terms of action series. Has Bleach ended yet? I know that one's getting pretty long in the tooth and it's coming close to its ending.
One can only hope, dude. I never was a big fan of Bleach.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull that up real quick. And then, of course, One Piece is still there.
One Piece will never go away, no matter how much I beg Oda to end it, no matter how much I want it to go away, it just will not go away.
Yeah, no, the manga's still running, but it's getting long in the tooth. I've heard that they're getting close to wrapping that one up too. So, but it's the end of one era of Jump, and it feels like they're about to you look at what's popular now, and it's very different from what was popular a decade ago, and even a decade before that.
Well, of course. I mean, anime and manga, like anything, is cyclical. It's going to go in cycles.
But there was one thing that was, so constant for so long, which is that the most popular series in Jump were almost always action shonen, like Dragon Ball and whatnot. And even though we got a little bit of a transition into something that was more character-driven in terms of what was being presented in Jump for a while there, It is strange to see a Jump that is so focused on love comedy instead.
Yeah, that's something I would expect something more along the lines of Shoujo B, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, but that's the weird thing. I mean, apparently that's what people are reading, so you have to go based off of that. So it's one of those weird things.
I like romance. I mean, obviously, I'm a big shipper of anything, so I'm all for it.
See, and that's hard for me because I like romance, but I like good romance. And it's a genre that it's so subjective that what some people see as good romance to me, I'm just like, not really, and so on and so forth. It's one of those hard things to do. But for me, I mean, I've always been attracted to the visceral side of the art. And to me, I guess, there is some merit in it, definitely, no doubt. I've seen some really good love comedies done in anime and manga form, but for me, it's more about the action and anything that just justifies it, like the science fiction genre in particular. Just really needs animation.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I mean, I'm into a wide variety of genres. So long as I'm entertained, you're probably going to be looking at a good write-up from me. If I'm not entertained, we have a problem.
Well,
that's the reason why I love fairy tale so much. It's because it's pretty generic, as white toast as I imagine, but it's really entertaining to me. I am thoroughly entertained, and that's why I think it's the best battle manga running out there right now. It's a lot better than One Piece, I think. Well, pretty much anything's better than One Piece because that manga is crap.
Yeah.
That's right, I said it, One Piece tards. Come at me.
Here we go again. Wouldn't be the MAVcast without a dig at One Piece, now would it?
Nope.
Anyway, so, I haven't been reading much, but I have been watching some anime lately. Like we had said previously, obviously I had seen Devil's a Part-Timer recently, so that was nice.
I've been watching that too. Very funny.
Really hoping it gets another season sometime soon. Probably won't, it seems like, but it'd be nice if it did.
There's always the light novels to
Yeah.
keep you occupied.
Those are good. I just wish that they were the ones that the translations that were out there were properly formatted, but what can you do? You get what you pay for.
Yeah, you gotta take the good with the bad.
So, anyways, but no, in terms of stuff that I have been watching, more recently than that, I've been watching the Gundam Build Fighters series. Both the original one from last year and Gundam Build Fighters Try. Obviously, in order to get into those, you kind of need to be a bit of a mecha head or a Gundam fan. Personally, I'm both, so I actually really enjoyed the series. It's this perfect blending of sports manga with Gundam. It's just so fun, and it makes you. It's ridiculous. It really is a commercial. Let me get that out of the way. The Gundam Build Fighters series is pretty much one big commercial to get you to buy Gunpla. I don't care. Give me all the Gunpla. I want this game to exist. It's basically that it's like you build a Gundam and then you put on this system that scans the Gundam, the plastic Gundam, and determines your stats and your mech's abilities based off of the quality of the build, how you painted it, what parts you put on it, so on and so forth. And then you control it, and then you basically fight each other in this arena-style battle. So it's a combination of video games and piloting with this little buildable toy. So it's kind of like how amiibos work in Smash, except that you actually control them instead. So it's a really cool idea, and it makes it a really entertaining anime. Pretty much.
It's Skylanders with robots.
Pretty much, but it makes it a fantastic anime to watch. Because you also throw in things like you got this character who comes from a mysterious place. You're not really sure if he's telling the truth or not and what his background is.
Parts unknown.
Pretty much. And, the main character in the original series in Gundam Build Fighters is basically a kid who's really, really into Gundam and is really good at building these things. His dad owns the local hobby store and is always off spreading the joy of Gundam. And he's actually been hired by the guys that run Gunpla Battle to do that. And basically, he's just terrible at controlling the things. He just can't win. It's not that his mecha are bad, it's just that as a pilot, he's not very good. So then he ends up running to this kid who knows nothing about Gundam, but is really good at controlling him, apparently. So it makes for a really interesting series. You got a lot of different characters. One of them, it's really funny. They actually make one of the main side characters is the first quote-unquote jobber from the original Gundam, Ral. It's absolutely hilarious. So really fun series. Lots of fan service for Gundam fans, longtime Gundam fans, especially if you're into Universal Century. Definitely something to check out if you haven't already. I'm assuming, though, if you're a Gundam fan, you're already watching it, and it probably is the Gundam series of the season, since there's actually two, which the other one is new Tomino work, which technically takes place in Universal Century, but it's a little bit further out. Gundam Recongruist. It's a weird phrase. Reconguista, I think. Reconguista. Something like that, in G. So I haven't had a chance to really dive into that one just yet, but I've heard some middling to negative reception towards it. I had a little trouble getting through the first half of the first episode. Just really annoying voice acting. Just, I don't know. Schoolgirls, enough said. Schoolgirl cheerleaders, enough said. But, it's Gundam. I'll watch it. I'll be catching up to it. It's also really hard to watch because that series in particular, unfortunately, does not have an official release in the U.S. So,
oh, don't give me any of that crap. It's not hard to watch.
Oh no, it is in the sense that it's harder to get your hands on. Whereas with the others, you have to stream them, and it's easy to stream. You just jump on the Crunchyroll. With this one, you have to download, and you have to wait for it because there's no other way to watch it if you're not in Australia. Who they actually have an official stream, so I envy them.
Thanks a lot, Aussies.
So, and again, you have to wait for that to go up, and you have to wait for people to get the subs from that, and so on and so forth. So, you guys know how it is, and you guys also know how I am. If there's an official release, I'm gonna support it, and that's the good thing about Build Fighters. They upload it to Gundam Info, so Gundam.info. Go check it out. That's all I've been watching lately. I did pick up a couple of volumes of Code Geass that I need to get to, and I also picked up the first volume of Macross. So I saw a couple episodes of that. Very interesting series, because it's the first of the 3 series they did for Robotech. So that'll be really fun to go through.
Yeah, and I think never mind. That's a totally different thing in general. I just got reminded of the mecha or the robot designs in Macross. They were built like planes and such, and it reminded me of an old school 1980s anime called Area 88 that I love.
Yeah.
That's such a good series. Check out the OVA or the manga, or better yet, if you can find it anywhere. I doubt you can, because I think it had a limited print run. There was a remake of it in 2004. It deviates from the original manga, of course, since it's basically updated for modern day audiences, but it's still really good.
Yeah,
and if you ever also pick up Area 88 for the Super Nintendo, it's called UN Squadron in here.
Oh yeah, that's supposed to be a really good game.
I have it. It's amazing. It's hard as heck, but it is amazing. It will basically stomp your face in, even on the easiest difficulty.
Yeah. Speaking of adapting for a more contemporary audience, that reminds me of the only show that I'm really following this season that I'm actually current with. And I actually fell behind a couple episodes because I didn't have the web for a couple weeks there. Long story short, it was out of town. But Parasite, actually, based off of the manga Parasite, the idiom, actually had a anime this season, and it's really good. Really, really good. But it does deviate here and there just to update it. But otherwise, it's actually pretty faithful, which is good.
I'm going to have to look up the manga for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very interesting one. Basically, alien parasites come down and they take control of their hosts, and they mainly want humans. The problem is that if they feed off of humans in order to live. So you basically have these people that are, they look like humans, but they're not human. And then our main character, he actually was going to be taken over by one, but he actually caught it early enough and basically cuts it off to where it only eats his arm. So he basically has lost his right hand, and in its place is now this little parasite thing, and he talks to it, and they go off and they fight the other ones. And the way that it lives is off of the bloodstream. So it's a really interesting series. Definitely one worth checking out.
It's kind of like Army of Darkness in a sense like that in the Evil Dead movie.
Something like that.
All he needs is a chainsaw for a hand.
Groovy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Ash is the man.
Oh, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that's what I've been watching. So what have you been reading and watching?
Watching Devil's a Part-Timer. That's a really funny series. I just love that series to death. I don't usually use this word too often, but it's just cute. I mean, not like an chibi, like you're gonna get diabetes just by watching this, but it's just cute. The way they have it set up. I really do ship Mao and I always forget.
Emmy,
yes. I ship those two together so much. It's so funny.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, they just got the good chemistry together, and I always love that diametrically opposed aspect of big bad villain falls in love with a hero, especially male villain, female hero. I just love that aspect of it.
Well, it's also the fact that we don't actually know, because it's never outright stated that Sadao, when he was the quote-unquote evil overlord, we never have confirmation they actually did everything he's accused of. It all comes from Emmy, who's got a questionable account of what happened. And it's constantly brought into question.
Yeah,
especially since the bad guys are, the villains of the series are actually the people running the church that she was formerly affiliated with.
Yeah, and it's really, basically, long story short, the bad guys, the quote bad guys, Satan, not the Satan that we're familiar with, but from an alternate universe, just so happen to have the same names as the Satan and Lucifer and all that.
It's a JRPG final boss dungeon. Let's get real.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way I could describe it. So basically, Satan, Lucifer, and all of his well, not all of them, but some of his like partners in crime and his right hand man, they actually get transported to our world in Japan. They have no money. They have to get money somehow. So in order to support themselves, Mao Satan, I call him Mao because that's what he's
Mao.
called. Yeah,
In the real world.
Mao gets a job at a local fast food joint called McDonald's. It is as funny as that. It's just hilarity ensues. It's great. Go watch it.
Definitely.
You end up rooting for the guy. It's so cool.
It's just funny. It's just got a great sense of humor.
Yeah, it's based off a light novel if you want to go that route, like I prefer to. But the bad part about it is that the light novels aren't formatted correctly, as you alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
So good luck with that. And
Yeah,
I don't
it's
even
really
think
hard.
the entire thing's translated
No,
yet,
it's
so.
not.
So yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, and that's something like because it's something we should talk about probably very briefly because the thing is that more and more anime is being adapted from light novels. I mean, the biggest animes that we've seen in a while, one of them in particular, Sword Art Online, which I'm not a fan of, but I know many people are. I mean, I could go on and on that
in
one.
my presence.
But, you know, you have these series that are increasingly based off of light novels. And it brings the point to where we're seeing more and more of these be translated and be localized. It's good these things are getting localized finally and actually getting published.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like the light novels of SAO, but I just don't like the anime of it because it's horrible. The first 12 episodes are kind of good, but after that it's just a train wreck.
Well, I think that actually the show falls off the rails at episode 10 personally. Like the whole thing falls apart there, and a lot of it has to do with stuff that occurred in the original light novel as well. I don't think they're very well written at that point because basically, and this is why the show falls apart for me, the second that he kills someone and it's not talked about, I'm done. It's like we're going to completely sidestep the fact that he's finally actually killed someone in the game in order to further romantic plot. Are you freaking kidding me? Really?
Yeah.
No. Just no. That's why I don't like that show, which is, you know, look, the designs, they're great. The soundtrack, good, but seriously?
I personally don't like the fact because, and I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, it's a dot hack ripoff, people.
No, it definitely is.
I mean, a lot of people are like, no, it's like dot hack, but it's totally different. No, it's really not.
Now, the one thing I will say to defend it. A lot of people that are MMO players get really down on it because they say that it doesn't understand how MMOs work. No, it actually does a really good job of showing how MMOs work from the early 2000s when the work was originally written. See, there's this little thing called World of Warcraft. It didn't exist back in 2000. No, Sword Art Online is basically
EverQuest.
Even before EverQuest. I'd say it's more Ultima Online.
Or Asheron's Call.
Exactly. These old ones that when you were a high-level character and joined the party with a bunch of noobs, it would scale according to you, not them. Of course they're going to die. That's just how MMOs worked back in the day. Now you can see why things don't work that way anymore.
Yeah, because it was a flawed system. But
exactly.
We digress.
Anyways, regardless, enough of that. But no, it is an issue, though, with these light novels. They're adapting them, and the formatting is not very good.
No, I mean,
for the fan translations,
them regardless, but it really is confusing sometimes for those not initiated with light novels if you're reading them online.
Yeah, like the one that, again, I wanted to keep reading Mao-sama, Devil's a Part-Timer, but it's just the formatting is so weird, and it's hard to tell who's saying what. And it's a bummer because I actually really enjoy, from what I can make of the translation, I'm really enjoying it.
It's a great series, man.
It really is. Anyways,
other than that, I really haven't been reading all that much. I've been dabbling a couple of mangas here and there. I finally got caught up on Fairy Tail. I've been reading some Exorcist. What else have I been reading? A little bit of Love Hina, a little bit of Fruits Basket. I really love Fruits Basket, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
I recently, I think I alluded to this a couple podcasts ago, but I'm going to say this again. Magi, I've been slowly but surely trying to get into that. Oron, trying to make my way through that, and of course, Kaicho wa Maid-sama. I love that series so much. If you like tsundere, like high-strung, really powerful, independent females who slowly but surely fall in love with the main character who's kind of suave, you're gonna love Kaicho wa Maid-sama. It's funny, it's really well written. You're gonna love it. But with all these shoujo series that I'm going to be honest with you, I read them online because we can't get a lot of the ones that I want to get. They're not fully translated and booked into tankobon here in the U.S., so it's not as easy to read. Especially in Kaicho wa Maid-sama, and I believe Ouran High School Host Club is guilty of this. The translators, or I don't know whose fault I should blame this on more, rather the mangaka or the translators themselves. Maybe they're both at fault, but I think in Kaicho wa Maid-sama, they try to cram as much information as possible on that little screen. So I'm like holding up my my tablet screen up to my nose, just trying to figure out what in the world does that little chicken scratch say. And my eyesight's bad to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
it's probably the scanlators who are, the way that they're typing stuff in. Questionable layout.
Yep. So other than that, I've been reading all those manga. Whenever you read so many manga, you don't really get that far in any of them. Plus, I need to restart from the very beginning of both Holic and Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles because I started reading them, but then I just completely got lost. And those two manga are basically brother and sister manga. You have to read both of them at the same time to get any sort of sense out of them. Mm-hmm. So that's what you have to do with it. And I'm a big Clamp fanboy. I love those ladies over in Japan that make up Clamp. I think they're the best group out there, possibly of all time. We don't know. But they're right up there in terms of mangaka groups. I mean, they created one of my favorite anime and manga of all time, Cardcaptor Sakura. If you only read one Clamp work, make it Cardcaptor Sakura. That or Chobits. Either one will do you fine, but I recommend Cardcaptor Sakura. It's one of my all-time favorites. Other than that, I haven't been doing a whole lot of reading.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those weird transition periods right now, like I said. A lot of weird stuff going on in manga right now in terms of what's current. And, you also reach that point sometimes where it's like, you got other things that are really taking your time away. I know for us, definitely it's been gaming, no doubt.
Oh, yes. Especially with the deals we've been getting thanks to the holidays.
Which, we're going to be talking about that in just a bit. We'll just go ahead and take this time and take a quick break, and we'll be right back, talk more about gaming, and then after that, NXT, our evolution. Stay tuned, guys. And we're back, folks. Next up on the itinerary is, of course, our gaming stuff. And, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about in the world of gaming. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start with what we've been playing before we get into any of the news, because there's plenty of news. There's always news in gaming, as always, especially with what's been going on lately in terms of the community. So, first things first, games. Drew, what little things you buy recently?
Well, I finally joined the 8th generation of consoles after a year. I took advantage of the Walmart it wasn't really Black Friday, it was Thanksgiving night. It was the Xbox One Halo Master Chief Collection bundle for $329.99. I basically went to Walmart. I stood in line for 2 hours. Well, I didn't stand. I sat for most of the time because
we all do.
Well, the people in line, we were just looking at each other, and I was tweeting and doing Facebook and all that wonderful stuff. And we were just like, "What? Why are we standing? Let's just sit down."
There you go.
So basically, I sit in line for 2 hours before 6 o'clock because they couldn't sell it to us before 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So basically, 6 o'clock rolls around. I get my Xbox One. that's when the floodgates
Oh
open,
yeah.
and there's pretty
Oh
much
yeah.
the entire population of my little hometown of Nixon, Missouri. We're a population of about 19,000 and some change, all stormed Walmart. Oh my lord.
Yep.
So I was basically fighting my way through a sea of people, and I had to
To get
resist
out.
the temptation to elbow check people into the boards, like I'm TJ Oshie or somebody. So basically, I get out of there, and surprisingly, it didn't take me that long, but it just felt like it took a long time
Yeah.
because I don't do crowds all that well. So basically, I'm holding on to my Xbox One. I run to the register. I pay for it. I get home. I get home, I put the Xbox One up in my game room, but I don't set it up yet because I have to eat Thanksgiving dinner. I
Of
ate a
course.
bunch of Thanksgiving dinner and I pass out watching Thursday Night Football.
Nice.
So that's pretty much how I got the thing rolling with mine. So after I wake up from my turkey coma, I set up my Xbox One. I transfer everything, my Xbox Live gamer tag to my Xbox One. I download Halo Master Chief Collection. It was a downloadable game,
Yeah.
unfortunately, instead of a physical copy. And I know, yeah, go right ahead, make fun of me. Even though I prefer my games digital nowadays, I really wish that it would have been a physical copy because downloading that game took forever.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. We had the same problem over here. My brothers got an Xbox One for their birthday, and they got the Call of Duty bundle because they wanted the bigger hard drive. And when they were downloading that game, it took more than a day to get the dumb thing onto the console. It was just obnoxious.
I don't think mine took. Actually, it did take more than a day. Well, granted, I had to leave the thing on overnight just
Yeah.
so it download everything. But thankfully, since it's Halo Master Chief Collection, it downloaded. It's 4 games in one, people. So it downloaded Halo 4 first, and I could play that while everything else is still downloading.
It's
So
not too
thankfully,
bad.
I could do that. So I had to wait a day before I could hop on Halo 2 multiplayer, and dear Lord, I am in heaven.
Yeah,
It
no, it's definitely been great.
it Okay, for those of you who don't know, or maybe you do know, but I'm gonna spill it out for you again. Halo 2 is my all-time favorite console FPS online multiplayer.
His obsession
It
is
pretty much
unrivaled.
that game. I lost my 8th grade year and my freshman year of high school to that game. So yeah, exactly. It was so amazing whenever I played it.
I must punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So whenever the servers went offline back, what was it, 2010?
Something like that.
2009,
09,
2010.
010.
I was crushed because a part of my childhood, well, not childhood, but part of my adolescence
yeah.
died that day. Because, well, I played Halo 2 forever and ever and ever back when it originally came out for a couple of years. Then Halo 3 came out. Even though I really didn't like Halo 3 all that much, I still played it because all the other people were playing it. And I pretty much kicked Halo 2 by the wayside, even though that was a horrible mistake. So the servers went down. I was crushed because I didn't take advantage of Halo 2 when I should have. I took it for granted. So I got Halo 2 Master Chief Collection again. So I'm playing Halo 2 again. It's amazing. And I can play Halo 1 online, which you were never able to do back in the old days.
Outside of PC.
Except on PC, and I've never been a PC gamer, so that was out. And I am just in hog heaven right now. I absolutely adore Halo 2 and 1. Not so much 3 and 4, but I only play Halo 1 and 2 online anyway, so I'm good. So I'm really happy with my purchase of Xbox One, and I actually ordered my PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita TV for my Christmas gift.
Very nice.
Yep, so how my family does Christmas. And this is going to be really boring, and some people are going to say, why in the world are you doing this? That ruins the whole point of Christmas. We have a budget set up. It's normally $250 per person. Well, it's just me and my brother for the most part. So it's $250 a year. But this year we bumped it up to $300. So basically that equals a half of my PlayStation 4 and my PS Vita TV that I got. So I ordered it myself. The boxes have already arrived. My parents are just going to wrap them because I have to wait. I mean, I really need to wait and open them on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
because I'm a not professional. I am a traditionalist.
Yeah.
And I really like doing that. So
it's fun.
I've got it right now. And I also bought the PS4 and PlayStation Vita TV on Black Friday. So I got the GTA 5 and Last of Us bundle.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Exactly. I have yet to play either one of those games, so I'm really excited to play them.
Yeah. That's something I want to talk about in a minute, but that's pretty crazy. It's funny you should mention earlier the Black Friday stuff, because actually I was down in the middle of nowhere again myself, Kingsville, Texas, for Thanksgiving, seeing my grandparents, and I too made the trek actually to Walmart, and oh my god, these small town Walmarts, dude, absolutely ballistic, man.
Yep.
So okay, quick question
Throw
regarding the Xbox.
like you're John Jones.
Pretty much. No, but it's about when you were in line for the Xbox, how many people were in line for that, and how far in that line were you?
I was either the third or fourth one in line. Like I said, I got there 2 hours before they were supposed to go on sale.
Yeah.
Because I was not going to walk away empty-handed.
Oh, yeah.
So I figured there wasn't that many people in line. Granted, I couldn't tell how many people were in line, but I counted at least 20, 25, possibly 30.
Yeah.
So, and they only had about 20 Xbox Ones there, so not. I think there's some people who got turned down empty-handed. They still got the guarantee, though. They just had to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what matters, is that you get the deal. At the end of the day, that's what really matters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I actually ran in to grab a Xbox One controller. I already mentioned. I, too, have been playing Master Chief Collection. The only downside is that I got a little bit earlier, so I had to deal with a lot of the issues with matchmaking. Oh, my God, that matchmaking. It's gotten a lot better. But it definitely has had some issues. Outside of that, I've been playing through Kingdom Hearts HD. I just picked up 2.5.
Is that out?
That is out.
Oh, I gotta get it.
It's on my left. It's fantastic. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, though, because I need to finish my playthrough on 1.5 first, because I want to play the final mix. So I'm almost done with it. I'm currently going through the Hades Cup before I go finish the final boss, because I want the secret video, because I'm playing on critical. Not critical, proud mode. Bit of a difference there.
It's funny that you mentioned that. There's this thing called YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's not about... I've already seen it. I saw it back in the day.
Yeah,
it's not about
too.
that. It's about doing it right. I mean, it's a completionist thing. You get a trophy for it, I assume. And the big thing is that I want to watch the movie in HD, like true HD, on my big TV. With the sound. That's the big thing, because YouTube compresses the sound of video halfway to hell. Especially the sound. Good God. Sound compression on YouTube is terrible. But, that's something that I'm really excited to see again. Because, again, it's the final mix version. It's not the one that we got with, Kingdom Hearts 1 back in the day. It's, final mix. It's the good one. It's another side, another story with, the epic... Oh, God. Love that stinking video. Anyways, really made Kingdom Hearts 2 set up to be something amazing, and, everyone's got their own opinion on what that is. For me, I love it. I think it lives up to it, but then again, I like the convoluted part of Kingdom Hearts that everyone seems to hate. And I thought the organization was just so cool, but that just might be my nostalgia talking.
Yeah. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's what actually got me into JRPGs back in the day.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up with JRPGs because I really didn't like... I was a little kid, folks. And so just so we're talking here, I really didn't enjoy menu-based, turn-based strategy games, or turn-based RPGs. I still don't like strategy games.
Yeah.
But
see, I'm big into strategy, but... Yeah,
but Kingdom Hearts got me into JRPGs. So basically now I'm going back through all these RPGs that I never got to play back in the day, including the entire Final Fantasy series. But I'll talk about more of that later, because I recently picked up 2 RPGs on the PSN.
Ooh, very nice.
I was playing that before we started doing the podcast here.
Yeah. No, funny you should bring that up, though. It's really true that Kingdom Hearts really is the gateway for our generation of gamers, because I actually didn't play. A lot of it is because I had a Nintendo console in the N64 days where there were no JRPGs. They were all on PlayStation.
I had both. Suck it.
Yeah. See, I didn't get a PS1 until 2001-ish. And by then, I was just like...
generation behind.
Yeah, by the time I picked it up, I mean, I got a GameCube the next year, so it was kind of whatever. But I didn't pick up a PS2 until about 2004, 2005, whenever they dropped it down to 130. $130 or something like that. It was cheap at that point. It was awesome because I was able to get all the games
Was
for
that the
$20.
Slim?
Yeah, it was the Slim. Still have it right here. It was
I
great.
really want the Slim.
Yeah, Slim is
I have my
such
big
a nice
fat one,
console.
but I think the door is making a rumbling noise. It has been for the past couple of years, and I'm gonna run that thing into the ground until I get
definitely. But
until I get a Slim.
But yeah, the game that convinced me to buy a PS2 though was Kingdom Hearts. We were over at a friend's house, and I had seen Kingdom Hearts just sitting there. I'm like, man, I've heard good things about this game. I need to check it out. So I plug it in. And 5 hours later, 5 hours later, I played all the way. I got to Tarzan. I'm like, okay, I need to stop. I've been playing for 5 hours. Mom, I want a PS2 for my birthday. I need Kingdom Hearts.
Well, I came across Kingdom Hearts because I saw the commercial for it back in 2002, and my jaw dropped.
Oh yeah.
Because it's still visually impressive.
Oh, no. Like, graphically, it's aged really well.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the commercial for it, and I saw the Simple and Clean remix by, is it Yukari Utada? I can't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Japanese
I believe it's
singer.
Hikari Utada, but yeah.
Yeah, and I just could not believe it. I was like, I must play this game, because I was and still am a Disney fanatic. And whenever I saw Disney characters, I have to play it. So
of course.
Basically, love that commercial. I was like, I have to play this. And I got the feeling that I'd never gotten before while playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
And I really can't describe it all that well, but it's just this, and this is going to sound really cheesy, this overall good feeling deep in your heart, deep in your soul. I really can't describe it other than that.
No, it's the thing is that the Kingdom Hearts story, especially the first game, it's not overly complicated. The second game totally overcomplicates everything, and I love it for it. But there's something just, even when you cut through all the crazy stuff, and if you just get down the core of it, it's a very simple story that's about friendship and following your heart, and it's just something about it that it resonates. It goes back to traditional monomyth because it's, the rise of the young hero and whatnot, confronting inner demons, confronting your past, confronting your fears, confronting your future, and just taking it on head first, and escaping your time, that small world that you're in. Really resonates with a lot of young people these days. It definitely resonated with me, and you can tell it resonated with you as well.
Of course.
I mean, but the thing is that it also combines, this world, marrying these two really different worlds when you look at them, especially with how they were, seen back in the day. I mean, there could not have been a thing more counterculture to Disney than 90s and early 2000s anime. And yet JRPGs like Kingdom Hearts show that no, they remind us that animation, especially Japanese animation, borrows so much from early Disney animation that you marry the two art styles. The Final Fantasy. Yeah, no, they're perfect for each other. It really is the perfect marriage of the two. And in the long haul, it's really made Kingdom Hearts stick with me personally because it does combine my love for anime and my love for Disney, because I love Disney and I love anime and I love Final Fantasy and I love that Japanese style of storytelling that you combine the two, and it's amazing.
Exactly.
It's this perfect East meets West theme, and it encapsulates it in the game. It just has solid gameplay. I mean, it's not the most complicated thing. It's a character action game, truth be told, with some RPG elements, but it really is the game that gets you into the genre, locks you in, and there's no going back once you play it.
You're hooked.
Pretty much.
It's like there's no going back now. You're ours now. Basically, Square Enix says, nope, you're ours.
Yep. Unfortunately, for better or for worse, I'm stuck playing Square Enix games. I'm still sitting here waiting for 15.
I'm still... Oh, trust me. Cry me a river of tears. I'm still waiting for my Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah, at least that one they flat out said it's never going to happen. 15, they've been stringing us along for years. We're finally going to get it, but...
Well, to be fair, they did say that Final Fantasy 15 would potentially happen if they make a game better than Final, or I said 15, but Final Fantasy 7, they would remake it if they make a game better than it, but
Odds of
obviously
that
not.
happening are low.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. But I'm still holding out hope.
You never
Not
know.
that stupid. Oh my God, I raged
We'll talk about
so
that in a
hard.
minute.
Yeah, but anyway, as I was alluding to earlier, thanks to the PSN, I downloaded 2 classic RPGs that they're niche, but they have a cult fan base. Both Suikoden 1 and 2,
Ooh,
and I'm playing through Suikoden 1 right now. I just started the game today, and I'm really liking it so far. I just can't wait until I get to the part where I can build up my own army and everybody. You can recruit up to 108 people in your army. That's insane.
just a bit.
Yeah, and I heard that who you recruit, and if you combine those 2 people in your party, they do for unity attacks or whatever they're called, and for massive damage. It's great. So hopefully this will what's the word I'm looking for? This will help my obsessive compulsive disorder type of gaming and get every one of them. It's got that Pokemon gotta catch 'em all sort of aspect to Suikoden. So I'm really loving that. Other than that, I've been playing, believe it or not, I'm a big sports fan. One of the sports I love is golf.
Yeah.
I love playing Hot Shots Golf. I got back into playing Hot Shots Golf World Invitational. I've unlocked a lot of the characters. I haven't unlocked all of them. I also downloaded Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds, the Ultimate DLC edition for only $20 on PSN, and that's the PS3 version of Hot Shots Golf. And I also downloaded Hot Shots Golf 2.
Yeah.
So I've been hitting the virtual links a lot.
Man, yeah, I haven't played a golf game in a good while. I used to play them a lot when I was younger. I did play Hot Shots Golf a little bit. I was more of a Mario Golf guy myself, personally.
Well,
that
that's
original
the
Mario
thing.
Golf on 64 was insanely hard, though.
Mario Golf on 64?
Yeah,
Yeah, I still can't beat Bowser.
still rough.
Yeah, but actually, the only Hot Shots game that I don't have is the first Hot Shots Golf game, and I don't have the PSP ones either. But then again, it's the PSP. Who bought that thing anyway?
I did.
But well, other than you,
For Birth by Sleep, dude. Everyone that played Birth by Sleep had to get one.
I didn't.
Not anymore.
Well, I'm hoping that with this PS Vita TV that I'll be able to play all the PSP games that I missed out on.
Yeah,
but anyway, I'm getting off topic.
Well, most of them also got HD releases anyways, so.
Yeah. So the only game I'm missing, the only core Hot Shots game that I'm missing is the first game. And believe it or not, the first game was developed by Camelot Studios, the same people behind behind Mario Golf. So I'd recommend playing that game.
Yeah,
and
I'll
then
have to give it a shot.
Yeah, then from Hot Shots Golf 2 onward to present day, it's been developed by Clap Hands, which they've done a great job too.
Yeah.
Or better yet, if you wanted to skip all the riffraff, you can actually download Hot Shots Golf World Invitational. It's the latest game on Vita, but if you have a PS3, so of course download it because it's got a PS3 release too.
Gotcha.
And I think it's only $5 or $10 if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber.
Yeah, see, I don't have that yet. I just have a PS3, so there's not a lot of incentive for it for me personally.
Oh, well, if you become a PlayStation Plus subscriber, you get a lot of good deals on it. So
I've heard.
Yeah, you need to. If you download one game, make it Hot Shots Golf World Invitational, so that way you don't have to buy a lame duck a handheld like the PS Vita. So I've had a lot of fun with it.
That's good. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into news, because there's actually been a lot of things that happened over the past week that we've been alluding to. A couple of big events happened in particular. One of them was the Game Awards, new award show done by Jeff Keighley that was spiritual successor. Jeff Keighley, spiritual successor to the Video Game Awards, or VGX, that Spike used to put out, except that Jeff was paying for it out of his own pocket this time, and it really showed. The show actually was much better than anything Viacom ever put out, and actually did respect the medium and the people that make it, and I thought it was a really good show.
I didn't
for the
watch
most
it.
part. Yeah, you didn't have a chance to check it out. Well,
Well, the thing is, I really don't care about these award shows.
no, I understand.
I don't care about the award shows. I don't even care about like trade shows like E3 or Tokyo Game Show or anything like
See,
that.
I
I
care
don't pay
about
attention
those.
because whenever I go into games, and I'm weird, I like to go into them pretty much cold. So I have zero outside influence or as least amount of outside influence as possible.
Yeah, see, I use these shows as ways to find out, okay, I want this one, I want that one, I want that one, and I'm never playing that one.
I just look up stuff online, see what actual people who played them, what they look like. I mean, I still hear about what's going down at E3 because
Yeah.
it's impossible around this time,
Pretty
or
much.
around that time, I should say.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't watch anything.
Yeah, see, I do, but there was some really good stuff. They had a really nice segment for the Williams, Ken and Roberta of Sierra fame. They gave them a Industry Legends Award, which is pretty cool. They had a very nice G4 Icons-esque retrospective on their work that was really well done. Let's see more stuff like that.
I love Sierra.
yeah.
Even though I am still mainly a console gamer, I did have a couple Sierra PC games back in the day.
Yeah, I think we all did. I had one of the King's Quest. I think it was 4, but it's been so long I don't remember. No, it might have been 6. I take it back. Anyways, regardless, getting back to the topic at hand, though, they had a bunch of premieres of some different gameplay from different games, different trailers, but there was one particular reveal that I'm sure you guys probably want to hear our thoughts on. Did you see the Zelda stuff that came out?
I did. I did see the trailer for it.
Okay. It wasn't actually a trailer, it was the gameplay for it.
Mm-hmm.
That came out of the Game Awards. Before that, after that, they also ended up having Imagine Dragons, which I'm like, whatever. But they had Koji Kondo there. That was freaking awesome.
Yes.
Oh my god, that part was awesome. But before that, they showed off Zelda U. And they also announced that Star Fox will be coming out before Zelda U sometime next year, and it's coming along, so that's good news.
I'm actually more excited for Star Fox than I am Zelda.
But, no, they showed off gameplay, and, okay, first of all, the game looks amazing. Like, graphically, gorgeous, great art style. I love it. But what's really crazy is what they showed, oh my god, that world is huge.
Yeah, well, didn't the lead designer say that you wanted it to be more like Skyrim?
Yeah, no, he did. Well, in the sense of the scale, yeah. He obviously doesn't want it to be like Skyrim in terms of combat, because no one should want to be Skyrim's combat. No one.
I didn't think it was that bad.
It's an improvement over the previous Elder Scrolls games, but man, is it floaty. And questionable. Yeah. I mean, I'll admit, I've never liked the combat in the Elder Scrolls games. I've always felt that exploration was its strong point, combat was its weak point, but that's just my take on it. But in terms of the actual like world size and the amount of detail they put into it, oh yeah, crazy. And then they're also doing some cool things to try and liven things up a bit and make the game somewhat more accessible while also keeping the depth. They showed off how they're going to be able to help you with the horse, how you're not going to have to, it'll avoid, duck and weave all the obstacles so you can focus on your aiming with your arrows and stuff like that. And they also showed off a really cool Max Payne-esque slowdown system. When you jump off, you can actually enter like a bullet time slow-mo, aim your arrows, and fire them away. It's pretty cool stuff. Very interesting.
So it's kind of like Red Eye from Red Dead.
Pretty much. So basically the moral of the story is that the new Zelda game, the developers actually sat down. They played a bunch of Western titles, mostly Rockstar games and Bethesda games, and actually studied why people dig them and why people were like, oh yeah, it's kind of like Zelda, except that with this and that. Now they're trying to take that back, add it to Zelda, and, do it in a way that fits Zelda, which is exciting. So hopefully they just don't get into... Hopefully what they're able to do... Because the one thing that's been a problem with Zelda games is that the overworlds have been really barren. Hopefully this emphasis on exploration means that the overworlds are going to be filled to the brim with content and details and side quests that are interesting and cool characters and stuff. That's why I'm crossing my fingers that they'll add that Nintendo charm and polish to a genre that is so desperately in need of that. Because unfortunately, as we've seen in the past year, open world games are just a giant train wreck right now. in terms of like content.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of rehashing. So,
well, yeah, I will agree with you there.
yeah. So, but I thought that the Zelda reveal was really cool. I thought it's looking great. I'm very excited.
I mean, it's a Zelda game. Need we say more?
Pretty much.
But like I said, I'm actually more excited for Star Fox than I am the new Zelda game.
Yeah, because we haven't had one in so long.
Yeah, honestly, I'm one of those guys that we haven't had a true Star Fox game since Star Fox 64.
Mm-hmm.
I ignore everything else.
Well, it's hard not to ignore everything else.
Yeah.
Star Fox Assault was questionable. Adventures is a great game as long as you ignore the Star Fox on the box.
I can't ignore it. It says Star Fox on the box.
See, I was able to, and I enjoy it for what it is, but yeah, it's a horrible Star Fox game.
Yeah. So why have Star Fox on the game?
Because
thank you,
Miyamoto
Shigeru Miyamoto, for ruining yet another, for ruining an IP that could have been something awesome, but no, you just had to crowbar Star Fox into it.
Hey, at least he's going to try and make up for it now.
He better. Yeah. Miyamoto and I have a bit of a history. Yeah, he's the godfather of gaming. That doesn't mean he gets a free pass on everything.
No, occasionally he makes some mistakes, and when he makes mistakes, he really screws up. But I guess, considering that when he hits a home run, he really hits it, it's to be expected.
Yeah, but I will say one thing, that if Nintendo really wants to make me buy a Wii U, other than what the games that are already out and are soon to come out, 3 words: Wave Race sequel. Give me a Wave Race game. Yes, please give me a Wave Race games.
You know which game I want to see more than a Wave Race, but it's never going to happen in their sports genre? A new 1080.
Bring that back. Yeah,
I don't want a new 1080 snowboarding.
Yeah, I mean, 1080 Avalanche was a really good game,
No,
but
it was.
the thing is, 1080 was a victim of its own success.
Pretty much.
Because the first 1080 game, which is my favorite in the series, it was basically a racing game on snow.
Pretty much.
1080 Avalanche, it was kind of like that, with a little bit more focus on tricks, but it was still mainly focused on the racing.
Yeah.
So that's why you have games like SSX that came in and took everything away from 1080, its audience, because SSX was more focused on tricks than the racing. And
Exactly.
That's what you need to focus on if you're an action sports game.
Pretty much. Because that's what people want to play. So.
Yep. So bring back 1080, focus on tricks, but don't go overboard like SSX does, because there's only room for one SSX.
Here's the thing that blew me away, that they didn't do one on the Wii. Which is weird, because it would have made perfect sense when you keep in mind that they had the freaking balance board.
But they did or didn't?
They didn't make it 1080, but they had the balance board from Wii Fit.
I was about to say that. Yeah, they did make an SSX.
Why wouldn't you do it? Not SSX. A 1080.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been. It's just one of those things. It's like, how did they not do that? Oh well, it is what it is. But anyways, so moving on a bit. So yeah, Zelda got shut off. Looks cool. It's great. But there was another event that occurred as well, that Sony put on, the PlayStation Experience. I'm not going to lie. It didn't do much for me, because I'm really, at this point, I'm so frustrated with Sony. I'm not seeing the kind of games that I want to see from them on their platform. They're relying a lot on multi-platform releases, and I just... I haven't bought a PS4 yet. I have no intention of buying a PS4 anytime soon. I'm pretty happy with a PC and Xbox One combo right now, in terms of
that's all you really needed. A PC, you should be good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with those and the Wii U, because the Wii U, honest to God, as far as games go, that's the system that I played the most this year. Not even a question, just because there's nothing on the other consoles that got me the bite. Until Master Chief Collection came out, which was finally what threw me and my bros over the edge. Like, okay, we're looking at the library. Killer Instinct's on there. Sunset Overdrive's on there. Halo's out now. Now's the time to buy the Xbox One. But there's nothing on that system coming up that I'm really interested in. There's Bloodborne.
Well, I'm really interested in Order 1886.
See, and I was originally excited for that, but the more they show of that, the more I'm like, I really don't want to play that game anymore.
I mean, yeah, it's a Gears of War clone, but I like the first Gears of War, and I even like the second. I haven't played the third one yet because I kind of got burnt out
I
on it.
like it, but the thing is that it's got a nice aesthetic to it, but I have a feeling it's gonna get in the way of the gameplay, and it's just gonna be a very by the numbers shooter, and I'm just done with by the numbers shooting. I mean, even like, and I love the Uncharted games when they first came out. Don't get me wrong, but the more I play, the more I'm like, yeah, these
I can
don't
understand
hold up
that.
in replays.
I still have not beaten Uncharted 3 yet.
I liked Uncharted 3 a lot, but those games are flawed, man.
Well, yeah, I will admit. I mean, it's basically you're playing a Hollywood action movie in video game form.
Pretty much. I mean, like, what's good about them is that like the stories are great and the characters are awesome, but the actual gameplay itself is snore, man.
Mm-hmm.
After a while,
But also, I'm really hoping since Sony's kind of going remake crazy, I'm really hoping that they make Gran Turismo 6.
Everyone's going remake crazy right now.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Polyphony Digital just ports Gran Turismo 6 over to PS4 because I want to play a racing game in HD.
That would be nice.
That would be insane. Something to play a rival with Forza 5 on the Xbox
Definitely.
One.
I mean, competition in that space is always good. I mean, you got Project Cars coming out. That one looks really nice. The cars on that one look amazing.
Yes, I really want to get that game because I saw gameplay footage of my all-time favorite Formula One car, the Lotus 78, the same car that Mario Andretti drove to his 1978 World Championship. I want to play that game now. I saw gameplay footage of it, and I'm like, I need to play this. It looks awesome.
No, it really does look gorgeous. But anyways, let's talk about, though, the real thing that everyone has been talking about from PSX. Other than the Uncharted gameplay and the downgrade ton garbage, I haven't kept up with that as much. I probably should because I'm curious. But that's not what everyone came out of it, which is funny. No, what everyone came out of PSX remembering was that they put Square Enix on last.
Oh, no.
That was a mistake. Because here's the deal. Square Enix, as everyone knows, is in an identity crisis. The good stuff comes out of Eidos, which is pretty much where you get your Deus Ex and stuff like that. As of right now, Square Enix Japan, not much has come out.
Well, not everything out of Eidos is good. They did have that horrible Thief clone.
Yeah.
Or not Thief clone, but Thief remake.
Well, when you consider that the last Tomb Raider game wasn't awful and that Deus Ex happened.
Yeah, Deus Ex was awesome.
It's freaking.
They're one for
game.
two.
Yeah, they're. Yeah,
I just wish they didn't piss all over a beloved IP that I love so much.
I mean, it is what it is. You win some, you lose some. It's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. But anyways, getting back to what happened, obviously, everyone was waiting to see what they were going to announce because they were saying, "Oh, we got another RPG that we're going to announce that's not related to Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts or anything like that." So we're like, "Okay." Because, they had blown us away the previous 2 years ago with the re-reveal of 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, which, of course, I'm still looking forward to, of course, as we all are, with bated breath. I mean, it's Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, they speak for themselves. And they are looking great, and they look like they're really far along, especially 15. 15 is actually, they've been more transparent about the development on that, so that's been good to see. And with 3, apparently they showed some gameplay at the launch for 2.5 HD here in America. So that's a good sign that they're showing stuff. Even though they're not showing it to the public, it exists. It's not vaporware. That's good. Anyways, no, what they do at the PSX is they say they show the graphic. They start talking about Final Fantasy VII, and the crowd goes ballistic because they think, "Oh no, oh my god, it's happening. It's finally happening." So that's why they've been so busy. Why they haven't done a thing. Final Fantasy VII remake. Oh my god! And then they start showing footage. Everyone's waiting and waiting and waiting for that moment when everything goes to HD graphics, right?
And it doesn't happen. It turns out it's going to be the PC port going to the PS4. Crappy music and all.
Yep.
Oh man, I would have booed that guy off the stage
And the
had I been
crowd
there.
goes silent.
Yeah, I would have booed him. Seriously. I
Yeah,
okay.
it
Final
was
Fantasy VII.
hilarious to see the reaction on people's faces. Just the utter crushed disappointment.
Yeah. Okay. To the younger gamers who don't know, and I'm including you in this, Final Fantasy VII means pretty much it's one of my cornerstone games.
Oh, yeah.
It is basically whether you think it's overrated, which it is.
It is.
Uh,
Six is
it's
better.
incredibly overrated. I think 6 is the greatest of all time. But
Agreed.
if even if you think it's overrated, even if you think it's a piece of poo,
It doesn't matter. It's Final Fantasy VII.
it's extremely important to video game history. And
Without
it's a really
Final Fantasy
good game.
VII,
I love it to death.
yeah.
Like I said, I've been going back into time, and I've been playing all these great JRPGs that came out in the 80s and 90s and whatnot. I played Final Fantasy VII. My mind was blown, even though I had never played it before, and I was playing it a couple of years ago. I loved it. So,
Yeah, see, the first time I played Final Fantasy VII was, God, I think I was like 15 or something like that, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
yeah.
The thing about Final Fantasy VII, that historically, if you're someone that got into JRPGs later like us, then you wouldn't understand it. But when that game first came out back in 97 or something like
97.
that, 97,
It blew people's minds.
it was the first time a JRPG ever made that kind of money, and the last time a JRPG ever had that kind of buzz. It's the reason that we have JRPGs now actually come over to America. Like, it made it to where Dragon Warrior and Dragon Quest could exist in America, that there could be an audience for Star Ocean, that there could be an audience for the Tales games. We would never have gotten the Tales games if it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII was a technical marvel at the time because of how much they were able to shove on those CDs that expand as many discs as it did, that the game had the audio that it did, that the game had the story, which even though the translation is questionable in terms of today's standards, at the time it was insane.
Let's not beat around the bush here. It's bad.
Yeah, no, the translation's bad, but at the time it was good compared to what else was out there. And again, the game, most people hadn't played a Final Fantasy game before, and if they did, it was Final Fantasy on the NES. Unfortunately, people did not give Final Fantasy 2 and 3 as much time as they should have, specifically 3. I mean, I love Final Fantasy 4's story. It's one of my favorites, but Final Fantasy 6 is freaking amazing. Easily my prized piece of my Super Nintendo collection, which is quite the it's shaping up to be a very nice little small collection right now, considering I've got, Link to the Past and all those other games. No, it's by far best game I've got on that system, which is saying a lot. It's one of the best systems of all time. I don't have Chrono Trigger yet, though. I need to get that one. Anyways, regardless, Final Fantasy VII is the reason that video games are what they are today, for better or for worse, and from a from the perspective of Japanese games making it over, it's the reason that we play what we play today.
Yeah. Yes. And back when I was trying to portray, it's extremely important, and it just blows my mind that a company would do something like this. How they don't listen to their fans. Square Enix could care less about me and you and everybody else.
They never
as
have.
Fans. They don't care.
And they never have.
This port proves my point that they do not care. And I honestly do not know why they don't give us what we want, because we're talking, it would make so much money. We're talking Scrooge McDuck levels of cash here. And in case you haven't noticed, Square Enix really isn't doing that well financially.
No, they're not. And the thing is that you also have to realize that from a PR standpoint, Square Enix has been run through the crapper so many times. Final Fantasy as a brand was murdered by Final Fantasy 13. People complained about 10 and 12 and 8 over the past few years, but at least
the MMOs 11
and the
and
MMOs,
14.
yeah, people beat up on those. 14 deserved it because that was a piece of junk. I mean, they fixed it now, and it's a good game now as an MMO. It's still an MMO, but it's a good MMO now. But when 14 was first launched, it was just god-awful. But 13 is honestly, like, as much garbage as 14 did, 13 is what really killed that brand in most people's eyes, because they not only did they make one game. No, not Nomura. Nomura had nothing to do with that game. Nomura only did the character designs. The real person who screwed the pooch on Final Fantasy 13 was Toriyama.
Not Akira Toriyama.
Not Akira Toriyama. Oh god, what is his name?
I don't know.
Minoru or something like that.
Yeah,
anyways,
Toriyama, or whatever his name is. Yeah, I swear to gentle Jesus, if he still has a job, I'm gonna lose my mind.
He does, and he's also on the panel for revitalizing the brand, apparently, which Final Fantasy 15 is not a part of. Here's the thing. A lot of people gave Nomura a lot of crap, but, the truth is, one, he was more focused on Kingdom Hearts during this entire process because they kept taking his staff away, so you can't blame him for that. Two, he only contributed character designs to 13. That's all he was hired to do, to draw pretty pictures. That's all he did on 13, because he was busy with Versus, which became 15. Which, by the way, Final Fantasy 15, back in the Nomura days, was taking most of its inspiration not from 7, but from 6. Something that's been reiterated by the new director, who has said, I am taking most of my inspiration, surprisingly, not from 1 and 7, which are the games that everyone played from back in the day, but instead from Final Fantasies 3, 4, 5, and most importantly, 6. You can tell by everything that we've seen from Final Fantasy 15, they're actually trying to make a Final Fantasy game that looks and feels like a Final Fantasy game.
Even though it has cars in it, but we won't hold that against them.
No, that's fine. That was always going to have cars in it because it's a fantasy based in reality. That's what makes it different. And I'm cool with that. I've always bought into that concept. What matters is that the core DNA of Final Fantasy is in that game. So anyone that's still falsely bashing on my man Nomura, just shut up. He's the person that's going to end up saving your precious Final Fantasy at this point.
Well, we'll see, because this will be the single most important Japanese RPG release in history.
Oh, yeah, because it needs to save console gaming, basically. That's what it's determining.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Because if it fails, Japan is screwed.
Yeah, in terms of consoles, absolutely.
Yeah.
And AAA releases.
Yeah, because unlike over here in the West, Japan has already switched over to mobile gaming and handhelds.
Yeah,
because
exclusively.
They are a mobile nation. I mean, they train in. They take not subway. They take the bullet train or whatever they take in. So they're always playing on their DS and their Vitas or their cell phones. So it's just a completely different gaming culture over there right now.
That's also a misnomer, because that's only half of the story. The other half of the story is that the PS3 was just too damn expensive when it came out. I mean, there's no way to get around that. It cost around $600 when it was launched. But they took a massive loss on it. But the real issue with the PS3 was also what games they focused on over the years. It's become increasingly Western-centric, and has continued to not focus on the games that Japan wants. As a result, PlayStation shot itself in the foot as a brand. People don't associate with the PlayStation brand the way they used to. This is a problem in Japan because they're pretty fiercely loyal to Japanese game companies.
Well, yeah, I can't really blame them. I'm loyal. Well, I'm not really loyal to anyone. I'm loyal to excellence, but I'm biased towards Western.
I'm biased in favor of Japanese games. I'm not gonna lie, I am.
Well, that's because the reason why I'm biased towards Western, because I'm a Westerner and I want America to succeed. America, that sort of thing. That's the reason why I like buying Microsoft stuff, because I want an American company to succeed. I want an American company to be top of the heap.
Yeah. See, for me, the reason that I prefer Japanese games, Japanese consoles in general, is because of the experiences that I get from them. When I compare them, they're usually less buggy, they're usually more tight. It's just tiny things that usually, in my experience of playing Western games, they're just not there. and that's okay. I mean, they're different play styles, different, opportunities. I like both. I think they should be competing with each other. I think it's great they compete with each other. But at the end of the day, the issue is basically that, PlayStation went through an identity crisis. It didn't gain traction in Japan, so Sony focused their efforts on where it did. And as a result, console with no key leader in the console race, and with the leader being the Wii, it was inevitable that console gaming was going to start to decline as a result. So it is what it is. Hopefully, Final Fantasy 15 will help revitalize the console scene in Japan. I know for sure that there are some other developers that are looking towards it, particularly Yuji Horii, the guy that does Dragon Quest, has said that he wants Dragon Quest back on televisions desperately. So he's one of those pulling for the game to do really well. That way, they can justify putting the game on that platform.
Well, we shall see. I mean, I'm going to buy it for the PS4, of course, but we shall see.
And I'll get for the bone. So, all right. That's pretty much it. Oh, go ahead.
One more thing. For the PlayStation 4, I need to find an arcade stick for it because I'm going to pick up Dead or Alive 5 last round.
Yep.
Yep, even though I own both copies of DOA 5 and DOA 5 Ultimate, but those are for the 360. So I'm going to switch over to PS4 this time. Hopefully, I won't have to rebuy every single part of the DLC that I bought. I sunk over $100 into that game just on the DLC alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, DOA.
Yep. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for our gaming segment. We're going to dive into wrestling. We come back right after the jump. Hang in there, guys. We're almost done.
Dive.
We're back, folks. Thanks for hanging with us. We're going to go ahead and make this short and sweet. It's getting a little late over here in good old Central Time. It's already about to be 2:30. And
2:30 in the morning for those of you.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's time for the main event.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about the best. That's right. I am going there. The best wrestling event of the year, with the main event, which was definitely in my mind match of the year, NXT TakeOver R Evolution.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen,
this was you on that one because it's the greatest WWE event of the year. I can't say that's the best wrestling event of the year.
I'm willing to go there, because I've seen what they've had.
The Climax tournament was awesome.
The Climax was great, but in terms of like the way that everything was paced, because the problem is that you can't really put the Climax on everything else compared to everything else. It's really its own beast because it's, a tournament.
Okay.
It's kind of its own thing. It belongs in its own genre, whereas, this is like a pay-per-view. Like, if you were to compare it to Wrestle Kingdom, okay, that's a fair comparison, but, G1 Climax is its own beast.
Okay.
It's G1 Climax. But, which is always freaking awesome. There's a reason that I think we discontinued best, on WrestleGaf, we discontinued best non-WWE pay-per-view or event, because it's always going to be the Climax, so it's like, no. Not fair.
Okay.
So, it's New Japan. We're kind of biased in favor of New Japan over there when we're not doing WWE. So, anyways, getting back to NXT, our Evolution, though, oh my god. Okay, first of all, it was a pretty solid card to begin with. We knew we were in for something special. I don't think any of us expected it to be as good as it actually was. And this really just shows, and it's a reminder, especially in light of some of the stuff we've heard, especially from CM Punk in particular, because of that podcast. Hunter, he's been known to have some quirks, but this is just further confirmation that the company will be in much better hands when Hunter starts taking over, because, oh my god, they pulled out all the stops. This event was a statement. If you had the chance to listen to Stone Cold's podcast with Vince McMahon,
I highly recommend you do.
Please do.
Don't listen. Don't just listen to it. Watch the video.
Yes.
Go on the network. Watch the video. It's okay. You get a lot more.
Oh yeah, because you can actually read Vince's reactions and read Stone Cold's reactions and whatnot. And the man is out of touch. He thinks he's not. And the thing is, I respect the living crap out of Vince McMahon. I look up to him as a businessman. I think he's one of the most important figures in the history of professional wrestling. I think he's one of the most creative minds that we've ever had. But oh my God, is the guy creatively bankrupt and not able to see just how much trouble his product is in because of his inability to raise up new stars and listen to the audience and give the audience what they actually want instead of what you, an audience of one, wants. We had to fight, beg, cratch, claw, and scream to them and literally say, we don't want Batista, for God's sake, give us Daniel Bryan for this WrestleMania. And you're going to go through it again because, God, we got to push Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and now I was about to say that, and we're going to have to fight, claw, kick, and scratch our way again. And this time we're probably going to lose because Roman Reigns is getting a push.
Exactly.
And I hope people boo the living crap out of him. Now listen, I like Roman. I really do. Please do not get it twisted. I like the dude. He seems like a good dude, but he is not ready.
Exactly.
He got nominated for Superstar of the Year. He won Superstar of the Year. Granted, it was Slammies, and we all know that stuff's rigged.
Yeah.
But I just can't fathom why this guy, who had, one, maybe two pay-per-view wins over Randy Orton this year. Correct me if I'm wrong, JD.
No, you're correct. No, if you look at his record, he had one singles match with Randy Orton, where Randy Orton
SummerSlam.
Yeah, he carried him. He carried him through that match. I'd like to make that crystal clear because it's Orton. And Orton has gotten a lot better over the year, and mad props to Orton for actually stepping up.
So
he's becoming one of my favorites. No, here's the real deal with this. He's been injured for the second half of this year.
Yeah,
he has done nothing except be in middling, at best, feuds during his time away from the Shield. The people that have stood out from the Shield are the actual members that people care about from the Shield, which are, of course, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. By the way, Seth Rollins, of the three, believe it or not, he's the one that's got the most to stand on. As much as I love Dean, Seth's the one that's improved the most.
Seth should have been Superstar of the Year.
He is top heel, my friends. He deserves his spot as top heel in this company.
He should have won Superstar of the Year.
He really should have, because he had the most interesting feuds, most interesting stuff. But, of course, he's not going to win. He's a heel. So he can just take pride knowing you didn't win. You know why? Because you're the best heel in the company, and you deserve it. No doubt in my mind.
Go ahead.
Anyways, but, getting back to it. Yeah, great podcast. Give it a listen. One of the things that was mentioned was the brass ring comment again. He basically calls out the younger generation, saying it's a millennial issue. They don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Hunter then tweeted this evening, I lost my box of brass rings. I can't seem to find them.
Well, that's because everyone took them.
Because everyone grabbed a hold of them and clung on for dear life. See, ladies and gentlemen, if you light a fire against a bunch of people who are hungry, like Hunter's folks down in NXT, you will get wrestling gold. It's already booked logically, but man, oh man, was it amazing. Let's go ahead and briefly go over the card. I know you came in a little late, so I will briefly glow about the parts that you missed, unfortunately, and that you definitely go check out. I saw what happened
on the recap, but
you need to see the moments, though. Oh my god. Okay, so first of all, we had the premiere of Mr. Wrestling, formerly known as Steen. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Owens debuted this evening, and I have never seen the NXT crowd this hot. Ever.
And he killed CJ Parker.
He killed CJ Parker. And he got some color.
I hate him.
Well, he got some color on him, too. Like, he accidentally got his nose busted, and it made him look even tougher. I mean, it was great. It was fantastic. And, the crowd got the chants going. They chanted, "Fight Owens, fight." It was freaking sweet. You could see he was about to cry. It was amazing. Just the emotion that his debut was that good. Just absolutely. It was a moment. It was a great moment in pro wrestling history. He was never supposed to make it to WWE, yet here he is. Wow. So cool. And then after that was a tag team match. There was 2 tag team matches that occurred. One of them was a little weak. The other one was awesome. First tag team match was the Vaudevillains versus the Lucha Dragons, and it was an okay match. It was the weakest one on the card. It was pretty much Vaudevillains beating up on Ricky Morton, Sin Cara, and then out of nowhere comes for the save Kalisto. It was a match. It was good. I mean, I like the Lucha Dragons. Don't get me wrong. I like Kalisto in particular. He's a pretty ripped dude. Has some great spots. But when your card is this stacked, yeah, of course it's going to be the weak match. I mean, there's no getting around it, is what it is. But after that, oh man, did we get a match?
Charlotte and Sasha Banks for the NXT Women's title.
Oh yeah,
this was up until the main event, the match of the night for me.
It was a really solid match. Now, there was no way this match was not going to be this good. First of all, Sasha Banks has gotten so good in the ring. It's ridiculous. And same with Charlotte. Both of them, when they came in, were pretty green. With Charlotte being just, lack of experience, and Sasha just being a middle-of-the-road, bland performer. They've really come into their own. And I feel like this match was also a statement meant to be aimed directly at Vince McMahon, because what happened, and more, not just him, but also Kevin Dunn, because here's what happened on Monday night. I don't know if you had a chance to see what happened on Raw, but
no.
They, in order to promote this event, they had Charlotte booked to go on with Natty.
I did see this. It was a 3-minute match.
3-minute match.
Lost.
Charlotte loses to Natty.
Mm-hmm.
It was a terrible match. It was a roll-up that she loses to.
The most overused finish in wrestling nowadays.
It was just, everything about that match was terrible. And here's the deal. We also heard a little bit of what happened backstage. Originally, Charlotte was going to win. Then it was going to be a tag team match. Then it was going to be a singles match with her and Natty, and she was going to go over. Then she gets there and they say, no, Natty's going over. And here's the thing. Natty wasn't happy about it either, because Charlotte's NXT champion, and she goes down the NXT a bunch. So obviously, Charlotte needs to win. I mean, you got our Evolution coming up on Thursday. She needs to win, keep the title strong, keep the champ looking strong, right? They don't care. Natty's in Total Divas. Natty's going over. Hunter's not happy about this. At the end, he brings him over and he says, it's okay. Charlotte's crying, of course. I mean, come on. You just jobbed in 3 minutes on live television. You're about to be called up to main roster soon. That's what people are going to remember, right? Hunter has to pull her over and say, look, you're getting called up in 6 months. 6 months.
6 months?
They're not
going
to remember.
Now.
Well, no. He's saying it's about 6 months is when it's going to happen. He's saying 6 months from now, I promise you, when you eventually come up, it's not going to be a problem. As you can probably have guessed, Hunter's basically trying to protect his guys, because he's seen how the past couple of people who've been brought up, it hasn't gone over too well. The only person who's gotten out of NXT that survived is Bray, and even then, we've seen what's happened to Bray. Poor Bray. Mm-hmm. But, Hunter is very protective of his guys, and it's very clear that he's holding people who are ready back on purpose. He doesn't want them fed to the wolves. He doesn't want them simply jobbed to Cena. He wants them to succeed, because he actually wants the company to have a future. And, but at the same time, after that statement about the millennials from the podcast, I mean, there's no doubt this match was meant to say, get over it. We can wrestle really good.
Not sports entertain, wrestling, Vince.
It's crazy. So, anyways, I really enjoyed the match. It was just good psychology, good pacing, just fantastic move sets. I mean, and the best part is that you don't even need to use the adjective for a women's match.
Yeah.
That was the best part about it. It was just a good, solid
The
match.
the only thing that kind of irked me, not it was the finish, and not because of the way it ended, but if you listen closely, you could actually hear them call their spot. Charlotte called her spot.
Yeah.
She told Sasha, "Get over here," and that's when she hit the natural selection for the pin.
That was hilarious. I actually really enjoyed that. I thought it was a great. And again, I know that's actually a call, but at the same time, it just I couldn't help but think of Scorpion that whole time. I was like, that was fine.
I know, but still, I'm kind of like, I guess I'm just so used to hearing it, and it just makes me angry. And you never want to hear anyone call their stuff in the ring.
Yeah. See, for me, I thought it was more just Charlotte being in character.
It very well could have been. It's just that, come on, don't end up on Botchamania for being everybody talks too much.
This is true.
Yeah, so just don't do that.
Because next thing you know, you end up like John Cena, and because Cena talks too much.
He is so bad at calling his spots.
He really is. So, anyways, getting back to the rest of the card, which again we can't stress this enough. This was a really stacked card. My man, Finn Balor, and Hideo Itami take on the Ascension. Okay, we knew that was going to be a good match. And it was a very good match. But that's not the part that people are still remembering and talking about. No. See, before the match even started, we were in for a treat. So Ascension come out, right? They get their entrance. Okay, that's fine. Go to the ring. They're mad. Because they've been, they're ready to kill Hideo. Because he's been getting the better of them this entire time. Hideo comes out. He's wearing yellow gi, Kenta colors. Which is funny because someone actually tried to say we want Kenta and everyone else booed him, which is great. So
I saw that.
NXT crowd once again proving that they're not always garbage and that they're looking out there to make sure these guys get over properly. So that was a nice little thing. But anyways, comes out in Kenta colors. But here's where things get crazy. Lights go out. Song starts playing. Former Prince Devitt. When he was back on the scene, he was known for doing his paint thing at the big events. The paint came back.
Which I'm very surprised that it happened.
Which is crazy.
And it was Carnage, too.
It was Carnage style, yeah. And the crowd starts chanting Holy S. Because they're blown away by it. Because they have the fog, they have the lights, they have the, everything. And of course it's Devitt. Well, now known as Finn Balor. And oh my God, it was a WrestleMania caliber entrance. And the best part is then the Ascension sell it. They actually legit sell that they're shook by the entrance. It was awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, those two have a match, or those four have a match.
Good
match, good pacing. What?
Great match. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely great match. Balor and Itami get the win, and so I think that'll just be their blow off for their feud.
Yeah, Ascension are going to be going up to main roster now, so that's why it panned out the way it did. Their first promo for their rise to the main roster is actually on Friday on SmackDown, so that's confirmed.
Well, it was fun while it lasted, Ascension, but go enjoy the main roster and try not to get jobbed out.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah, you'll need it.
You will.
But I think, let's get to the reason what made this show as amazing as it
caliber,
was.
absolutely.
That's the main event.
Because normally all those would be like really solid main events in any pay-per-view, but what makes this thing so great is that you had all those, and then you had the main event.
NXT champion Adrian Neville takes on Sami Zayn, the challenger.
Stipulation,
the ultimate underdog.
Yeah, stipulation being that if Sami Zayn loses, he will leave the company forever.
Yep.
Wow.
And then, pretty big pressure that Sami Zayn put on himself tonight. But
storyline wise, of course.
Yeah, the storyline, it was really great.
Fantastic.
The match went on for what, like 30 minutes?
30, a little more, like 30, 35-minute match. I mean, we knew going in, it's like, oh my God, they're going 40 because they had a lot of 40 for it. And they basically, they had that time for the celebration afterwards. Spoilers, Sammy wins. I mean, it's pretty obvious that he was going to win, but we didn't know at the time. It's like, man, this is insane.
Yeah.
Great storytelling.
They almost got me at one point during the match where Neville goes to get the belt. The referee took a bump like they always
the ref
do.
bump.
And then Sami Zayn picks up the belt. The ref is still out, so he's got his back turned to both Neville and Zayn. And Zayn is contemplating hitting Neville over the head with the belt.
God, that moment was so great.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, oh no, something screwy's gonna happen. Ref's gonna turn around. He's gonna see that Neville, or not Neville, but Zayn has the belt in his hands. Neville's on the ground. He's shook, and they're gonna disqualify him. So he's gonna lose that way, or just something. I knew something was gonna happen.
Yeah, but then
like the old Eddie Guerrero style, where Eddie would bash the chair on the canvas, fall down, or throw it to his opponent. He'd fall down, and the ref would see him. But so thankfully that didn't happen. But you could almost tell that half the crowd wanted him to hit him over the head with it. Half the crowd said no, don't do it. I was like, oh, please don't do anything stupid. Please don't do anything stupid. So anyway, outside that little moment, I think my other favorite moment was when Zayn jumps through the ropes and gives him a freaking tornado DDT.
Oh, that was amazing. Okay, so that tornado DDT spot is coveted because it's a really cool spot because it's really hard to pull off. The problem is that it's also a spot that's borderline impossible to make feel organic. What's insane about that spot in this match, it feels completely organic, which is weird. That spot almost always feels mechanical and obtuse and unnecessary. In this one, it made complete sense that he would do that because Neville just happened to be in the right position at the right time, so he just dives through the ropes, hits the DDT. Oh my God, so good. So good. No, that match was a clinic because they open with a chain grappling, and then they go through all the different things. They don't bust out finishers. Then they also protected the red arrow as well, which is crazy. We thought, well, maybe this is the time they're going to finally go ahead and let someone not go, get put down by the red arrow, but instead he counters it. So red arrow is still protected technically, which is good. But no, overall, just really solid match. And then afterwards, they have the celebration.
The entire locker room empties out.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Owens goes up, is in the ring first. He hugs Sami Zayn.
Because they're best friends.
Yeah, because they're real life best friends, have been for years. Yeah. They put Sami Zayn up on their shoulders. Afterwards,
confetti and everything. More interestingly, before we get into Neville real quick, there's been some speculation on some potential backlash Sammy could be getting. He swears a lot when he wins.
But it was a big moment.
After.
I'm sure Triple H can let it slide.
Yeah, but at the same time, that has been an issue that has been brought multiple times because it is technically still a PG product. So,
it's on the network. Come on.
Yes, but you also have to remember advertisers, especially now that they have to have advertising on the network.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, regardless, just interesting aside, something that definitely you'll probably start to hear some stuff float around the sheets about, see what some of the reaction to that is. Obviously, Hunter doesn't mind it as much as Vince does, but we'll see what happens with that. More importantly, though, after that, you have Neville. He's there. And, you're waiting for the handshake, and then they swerve us because he then kicks the hand and then pulls him in for the hugs. It's all good. Neville is not a heel. He's still a face. It's good. It's all good. I mean, it was a great match. Worked out really well. And then they leave. The locker room all leaves, and then Sammy's there celebrating. They give us our moment. It feels great. And they just sing there on the apron, get ready to head backstage. Owens comes back out, congratulate him, right? There's this moment, the logo goes up. We think, oh, that's how they're going to end it. That's really cool. Then they start walking, and it's like, wait, the graphic went up. Why are we still rolling?
And then
Owens turns right around.
Basically kicks him in the gut, and then power bombs him right onto the apron of the ring, which that could not have felt good.
Not at all.
So we've got a feud going past this. So
right out of the gate, that's what's crazy. Right out of the gate, they've already decided they're going to go ahead and start the Owen-Zayn feud now.
And why not? Hey, strike while the iron's hot. I just really hope that they don't really... I mean, granted, I think they're going to play off the whole they've been friends for years and whatnot, but I just really hope that it's nothing personal, it's just business. I like that storyline better.
It'll be interesting.
Because I really want them to be like, Sammy, what I did to you last Thursday night after our Evolution, it's not because I hate you, it's because, well, I want that belt. And I would like to see them play up the animosity that Owens has for Zayn, for Neville, for anybody else that got called to WWE before him. Mm-hmm. That would be really cool if they did that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what direction they take it, especially with the reaction Owens got at the beginning. The hard part is that he's always been heel for so long. He tends to slant heel when it comes to his alignment, and I think that's the direction they want to take him because of his mic style. He's very much in the vein of Stone Cold, and is Stone Cold approved, I might add, because the man knows how to run his mouth, which is good. No, but what's going to be interesting is see how they're going to handle it, especially since, because we've seen this feud before. I mean, this is, when it was Generico versus Steen, it was a fantastic feud. But what makes this one special is the fact that now
it's playing out on the big stage and without the mask.
The mask is the big thing because he's no longer El Generico, broken English, responding to it. Now it's Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is fantastic on the mic as well and has borrowed a lot of his style from Steen. Now they actually can have these interesting promos together, and that's that's probably a big part of why they went ahead and threw Steen at him right out of the gate, because let's face it, everyone knows that Kevin Steen is known for his promos. I mean, he is Mr. Wrestling, don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic worker. He's a freaking cannonball. Just absolutely, the spots he does makes zero sense for a guy of his size, but he does it and does it well. But he's really known for his mic work more than anything else.
It's just too bad that they're not going to they took away his package pile driver. Understandable, but it's just too bad.
Well, he's got some weird modified thing that he did, if you look at his match, where he basically pseudo pile drives you into his knee, to his leg. So it's not a true pile driver, but looks just as vicious.
It's kind of like a cross between a pile driver and a neck breaker.
Exactly. But so it's safe, but it's also vicious looking. I mean, you'll have to look at the match and tell me what you think next time of that. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. Oh, the other thing that was done earlier in the Kenta match, actually, they're teasing that Tommy's gonna get the go to sleep back, which is awesome.
I really hope they do that. Not just because Itami was actually the innovator
creator
of
that
it,
move, yeah, which is the whole reason.
Just so they stick it to CM Punk some more, and whenever they can stick it to Punk some more, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Speaking of Punk, he's gonna go for the UFC.
Yep, he's going into MMA. I, for one, will be buying his first fight just to see what he can do.
Absolutely.
I respect it. Okay, listen, I play devil's advocate, and I mentioned this on Facebook, and you probably, you saw it, of course.
Of course.
I see it both ways, but I kind of lean towards WWE's side because, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like it whenever I say that Punk quit. He kind of did, but he kind of didn't, because the whole independent contractor thing, which that's very true, but with WWE, it's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just come from the aspect that whenever you put your name on a contract, you should honor it. And to the people who are going to say he had he had MRSA, he had a staph infection, Yes, that's very true. But why did he wait 3 months to go see AJ Lee's personal doctor? That's what I want to know.
Because they drove him to do it. I mean, I see it the other way around because I do see both sides. I do understand, but I tend to side a little bit more with Punk because the thing is that basically he kept listening to the WWE doctors and they failed to Well, no, but that's the thing. He shouldn't have to be going to someone else because WWE claims that they have the wellness policy and that they do take care of their wrestlers. If they say all this stuff, then Punk should be getting that level of care. The fact is that he wasn't. And that is a black stain on WWE. There's no getting around that.
Anybody, any sensible person, I don't care what the team doctor says. If I feel that the team doctor isn't doing his job, I go see my primary care physician. I'm sorry, but I just cannot see it that way.
Well, the other thing is you also have to remember what kind of schedule are they on. I mean, you're going week in, week out, week in, week out, and the guy didn't have a chance to take a break. And whenever he could try and squeeze a break in there, they would book him anyways. I mean, the booking stories that he gives are absolutely ridiculous, particularly the foreign tours.
They don't. I'm pretty sure they don't wrestle 7 days a week like they did in the old days anymore. They're
pretty close to. If you actually go to the website right now, that's actually a big part of why Triple H actually left WCW to go to WWE, was specifically because WWE constantly has their guys wrestling, because they didn't drop house shows. They still book house shows in WWE. So,
but I still say that he should have gone to see his primary care physician on one of his days off, because with a superstar like Punk,
oh yeah, no, absolutely,
he had to have had at least one day off during the week.
Yeah, for some perspective, if I go onto the WWE website right now, WWE's performers will be performing on the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, and will be on break until the 20th.
There's a perfect because of the holidays.
Because of the holidays.
But there you go.
On a normal week,
go see your primary care physician.
Yeah, on a normal week, like back in January, from the 11th to the 20th, their only break is 14th and 15th. They're back on 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, so on and so forth. Granted, that's WrestleMania season, but still.
Yeah.
So that should be in my neck of the woods, so I might be going to the house show in San Antonio.
Awesome. So I kind of lean towards WWE. Yes, it was the doctor's fault. The doctor did not perform up to his duties as a medical care provider. Yes, he really botched the whole diagnosis. He wouldn't cut that thing out of Punk's back. I understand that. I understand that Hunter didn't like Punk. Punk didn't like Hunter. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's really weird. I agree with Punk on what he did for his health reasons, but he should, had he gone to his primary care physician whenever he had a break 3 months prior,
we could have had all this avoided. Absolutely. And the only thing that would have happened. Yeah. No, I agree. I can hear you on that one. And that's a valid reason. I still, though, for me, at the end of the day, WWE has some major issues with their talent relations, and Hunter should be able to look past it. And I think it really just shows that Hunter is a great talent developer, questionable talent manager, and perhaps that role that he's in really should be split to where he can share the duties with someone that can handle talent management better, especially when you're dealing with someone like Punk. But I digress. It is what it is. I wish him well in his endeavors to the Ultimate, and we'll be there when he has his first fight. Not even a question. It'll be fun to see what happens.
Yeah, it's just that whenever I heard that, I haven't listened to the second part of Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling podcast with Phil Brooks, but whenever I first heard that interview, I mean, it was very enlightening, don't get me wrong, but the three things that I came away from with it. One, he was mad because he wanted time off for his injuries. Duh. He was mad because he felt like he deserved the WrestleMania, the last match at WrestleMania, and he felt like he wasn't getting paid enough. Mr. Brooks, welcome to the exclusive club of every single wrestler not named John Cena.
Pretty much.
So
pretty much. But that's the hard part.
Wah. Cry me a river.
The hard part, though, is that the fact of the matter, they did string him on, though. That's the problem. Because he did have the ability to actually go
They string everybody on.
Yes, but after a certain point, with Vince, you have to put your foot down. And once you realize he's not going to budge, you do have to leave. Which sucks, because they are the only place in town. So pretty much if you're not Vince's golden boy, yeah, you are going to get screwed over unless you get lucky like Daniel. In which case, everything works out for the good. Daniel ended up getting the WrestleMania moment that he deserved. So, it did work out.
Well, WWE is the only game in town as far as North America is concerned. He could easily go to New Japan.
New Japan, yeah. Or he could have elevated Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So,
but, at this point, like he said, he was fed up with wrestling. He's not going back anytime soon. He has zero interest in returning to the squared circle. He's going to go into the octagon. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I for one, will be buying his first fight.
Yep. All right. Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll hopefully be back with something sooner, probably sometime after holidays. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of you all out there. We'll probably be in before the New Year. But, yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, so on and so forth. Whatever holiday you're celebrating, be with your family and enjoy it. And we will catch you all later. I'm TL21xx.
I'm LordofIce72. You have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
And thanks for joining us here on the Mad.